All right, hey, it's Uncle Rob, and just here on a rainy day, thinking about various things, and I happen to pop this hat on today, and this is the hat from Project Artemis, which is the future project from NASA where we will once again land on the moon. We will land, hopefully and successfully, person of color, a woman. They're trying to, of course, expand the, diversity of the astronauts who have walked on the moon, which to this day include a bunch of white guys. So, of course, they're trying to get current with, the way we look at things in the world. Anyway, so it just amazes me that 55 years later, people still think we faked the moon landing. There are still people out there who are going to leave comments and say we never went, it's fake. They think they have all this information, the flag and it didn't move and, where were the cameras and the dust didn't kick up, whatever. So anyone who actually looks into this, of course, realizes that yes, indeed, on July 20th, 1969, we did indeed land on the moon. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins floating around as they did it. And, like I said, 55 years, and people are still doubting that we actually went there. We actually did it. If you just think about it and look at it as the totality of what happened, 400,000 people worked on the Apollo program. At no point did one of them write a book and say, oh yeah, we faked it, sorry. Yeah, no, none of this was real. 400,000 people got paychecks for fake jobs that they didn't do or who knows what, kept a lid on it. I mean, you couldn't get, 40 people to keep a lid on a conspiracy that big. Anyway, of course, we have left lots of equipment on the moon that is visible from the Earth, including mirrors, which we can still point a laser at to this day. How did they get there otherwise? So, it's just amazing to me that people just, do their own research and watch a couple YouTube videos and convince themselves, yeah, we really never landed on the moon. How could we do that? Crazy. So it is fascinating when you look into it and see what it took to get there. And from our limited computing power, I mean, they could not even hold the program called Return to Earth in the computer as we flew to the moon. Once we landed on the moon, they had to dump all the memory of the computer and, they had to type in the commands, for the ship to return back to the Earth. That's just how we had to do it back then. But, yep, we've had 12 people walk on the moon. Of course, we had one failed attempt. I don't know, if you're just looking at it again, from, the standpoint of the whole event. If we were faking the landing on the moon and we faked it once on July 20th, 1969, we then go and fake it again and again. And we're trying to, we're really trying to prove that we did this by faking it 6 different times. And one of the times, we're going to fake it and act like it didn't work. In Apollo 13, the astronauts almost died. There was an explosion. We had to bring them back, slingshot them around the moon or whatever, and bring them back. Yeah, we're going to do that too, just to, convince people that we actually walked on the moon when we didn't. It is incredible that 55 years later, America is the only country that has sent astronauts who have successfully walked on the moon. I think people forget, Russia never did it. China never did it. India, countries that have a developed space program, have still not landed anyone on the moon beyond when we did it in the late 60s. For me, it's something that happened around the time I was born. I was 2, maybe, when we landed on the moon. And it's just such an inspirational thing for me, just to think about, hey, there's the moon up there. We'll get a bunch of smart people together and let's figure out, how do we get there? And they did it. It took took a while, and we were, of course, inspired by the great speech of John Kennedy, who really wasn't that much into space, but politically thought it was a good move if he would encourage us to land on the moon by the end of the 60s, which we did with 6 months to spare. So anyway, I've got the Artemis hat on because, like I said, we're going to try it again. It's going to be very exciting now that I am not 2 years old anymore to actually, hopefully, see us head back to the moon, successfully land, and see what we discover this time around. I mean, we haven't been to a large part of the moon. Of course, we don't expect anything to be there that we haven't really seen already, but that's why we're going to find out. A lot of people think it's a waste of money. A lot of people think, we could take this money and do all these other things with it. But like I said, I mean, from the standpoint of just, inspiring humankind that, we can use our brains, our intelligence, the science we've developed, and actually find ways to lift ourselves off this planet and to land, on the moon, which we see every night in the sky, and we can actually, get transportation up there, land safely, and come back, hopefully. So really, it's just an amazing, incredible thing that we actually did. It's, not made up. I worked with Kyrie Irving, the basketball player, and he looked up at the moon once and he said, "It's just a disc." He's famous for thinking that the moon landing is fake. And look, it's just a disc, like somehow this disc, like a paper plate, would just be suspended in the sky, just up there, not moving, not doing anything. Like, what would be holding it up? A big string? So, or, they think, okay, well, the earth is round, but the moon is a disc. Okay. Anyway, just rambling on here, but very excited to see the next couple of years unfold. I got to work at NASA about a year ago on a project, and not a science project, a film project, and it was very exciting to see the Falcon 9 launches. I went and saw a couple of those. You can find videos from that on my channel, or from probably a million other people who filmed them as well down in Florida. It was very exciting to see. And yeah, so looking forward to seeing how the current Project Artemis, efforts develop, and, watching us once again successfully really land on the moon, and not a fake way, in the next couple of years. All right, wrapping it up. Later.